call the April meeting of the Hudson River Black River Regulating District to order. Mr. Farrar, roll call, please.
Mr. Chairman, Mark Finkel.
Here.
Albert Hayes.
Here.
David Bergstrom.
Here.
Jeffrey Rosenthal.
Here.
Kenneth DeWitt.
Here.
Robert Smullen.
Here.
Robert Leslie.
Here.
Robert Flotan.
Here.
John Hudson.
Here.
Stephanie Rozicki. Here. Richard Farrar. Here, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I need a motion to revise the agenda, the meeting agenda for an executive session to talk personnel matters.
I'll make that motion.
We also want to add, Mr. Smullen, the intern resolution for during your report.
The employment of the new York Leaders Student Intern Program.
Okay,
we'll discuss that during the regular.
We'll do that during where?
If we can do it during my portion of it, it'll be fine. I've got it all teed up.
Okay. We need a motion to. I think the motion was made. Second.
Who made the motion?
Jeff.
Mr. Rosenthal.
I'll second.
I second.
Mr. Bergstrom.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, obviously we have no guests and we have no public comment period because there's nobody here. So move right on to the approval of the March 13th board meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections? If not, motion to accept. I'll make that motion.
Mr. Hayes.
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Rosenthal.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we are right up to report of our executive director.
Good morning, everyone. Since the last meeting in March, the district issued 4 weekly flag report updates to the executive chamber. The chairman and the executive director held a meeting with Assistant Secretary Rajiv Shah on the 28th of March. The following executive actions are noted. The lease for the reduced office space at 350 Northern Boulevard has been signed and is awaiting approval. Improvements are being made to the new spaces at the same office building at a reduced rate pending completion of renovations by the landlord. So they are underway. They're filling their obligations, and we are waiting to move the reduced footprint into Albany office spaces. The move to SFO is complete. On the 16th of March, the Great Sacandaga Lake Advisory Council met at the Edinburgh Town Hall. Topics included an update on the documentary Harnessing Nature. It's been fairly well received and extensive, and it's funded itself, which has been a very good news to everybody that's been following it. It's been really popular out in the community. Secondly, the Fulton County Sheriff's Department was given funding to approve a drone for lake safety, so they'll be operating that this summer along with their lake patrols. And thirdly, not mentioned, but certainly of interest, the Adirondack Watershed Institute out of Paul Smith College is asking, or there's discussions on more funding for lake stewards to cover on the remaining gaps that DEC is not covering on the lake. They didn't send anyone to the GSLAC meeting, so the funding request wasn't considered at the meeting, but there's discussions going on for that as to whether or not there'll be another steward to do boat wash downs at Broad Alban and Northampton boat launches. Thirdly, the New York Naval Militia exercise Rapid Gunnel 18 is continued. They did a site visit to Conconville Dam on March 15th. Saratoga and Fulton County Sheriff's Department, the State Office of Emergency Services, that's underway. There'll be a meeting in late April at the Department of Military and Naval Affairs where they'll continue to discuss that. I encourage the district to support it. They have a good exercise set up that will be done in September of the coming fall after the Labor Day weekend. It's a good thing. It'll be a good for the district, good for the naval militia, good for the state, and good for the local municipalities to coordinate. And lastly, for discussion, as we mentioned in the modification of the agenda, the resolution authorizing the appointment of interns in satisfaction of Governor Cuomo's, quote, new New York Leaders Student Intern Program, unquote. Last year we had a very successful time with 3 interns. We recommended to the board that the board approve a similar program coming up for this year. a sufficient way to give a good experience to good college students. We had great applicants. We've got 107 applicants. We've narrowed it down to a smaller field that's interviewable, and we'll follow the same procedures as last year to bring them on, and have 3 summer interns. It's been everybody in the district has chimed in favor of the program.
If I'm not mistaken, we have some repeat applicants, I believe.
There's some repeat applicants. Yeah.
Very good. So we need a motion to both fund and approve of that program, right?
Correct.
Yes, please.
How much is the funding, just
It's the
for
same,
the record?
same $14.50 per hour for each of the 3 interns.
Okay. Motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make that motion.
Mr. Hayes?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Rosenthal?
Any further discussion?
I'd like to sit in on the interviews with that too, just like we did last year.
And we have Mr. Hayes scheduled for the final round of interviews for the selection of the finals.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. We have our intern program.
And that concludes
That
my
concludes
report.
the report. Okay. Contracts, none. Move right to staff and committee reports. The governance committee chair report. Mr. Rosenthal.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, staff, governance committee this morning, I'll take them separately. Made a motion and there is a resolution to approve our investment policy as discussed and reported by Mr. Ferrara. No changes from last year. So I take that motion.
Mr.
All right,
Rosenthal?
read that resolution.
Second.
I'll second that.
Mr. Hayes?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Similarly, we're moving a resolution for approval of our procurement policy. Again, Mr. Chair, members, there is no change from last year, so I would make that motion for approval.
Mr. Rosenthal?
Second.
Second.
Further discussion? I'm sorry. All further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Lastly, Mr. Chair, members of the board, staff, and all present, I would move a resolution to approve our property guidelines policy as reported in the governance committee by Mr. Ferrara. No changes from previous year.
Second to the motion?
Second.
Mr. Bergstresser?
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
That ends all reports from the governance committee.
Thank you very much. General Counsel, Mr. Leslie.
I would update the board with respect to the litigation surrounding FERC's headwater benefit assessment orders. As reported earlier, on December 22nd, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit denied Erie Boulevard's petition to overturn the 2 recent FERC orders, setting the dates on which Erie must commence paying headwater benefits. 45-day period during which Erie could have moved for a panel rehearing or a hearing before the entire D.C. Circuit expired on February 5th, and Erie's opportunity to file a petition for cert with the U.S. Supreme Court expired on March 22nd. As such, for the first time in my 9-year tenure, next month's monthly report will likely contain no reference to either litigation regarding assessments, reports on progress pending portion revisions, or discussion of the status of the FERC headwater benefits determinations. Also, after a year to complete the transaction to purchase a piece of land in Hawkinsville, that closing is nearing. We're doing the closing by mail. I'm waiting for the deed, and we have the check in hand to return. We'll then file all the documents through leather stocking abstract in Utica. Other than that, we have one FOIL request and no appeals during the reporting period.
Okay.
That's it.
Any further questions? Any questions for Mr. Leslie? Thank you very much. Compliance Officer, Mr. Zicki.
Thank you. My report can be found on page 49. Our MWBE first quarter report was accepted by ESD. Our current quarter, fourth quarter is due April 15th. To date, we have $31,319.07. That's our MWBE spend, which will give us about 40% for this quarter, which is significantly higher than what we've achieved the prior 3 quarters. Our Services Able Veteran report is due April 30th, and to date, that spend is $2,429.85. As I mentioned each meeting, please review pages 50 to 52. Your review of these contract reports satisfies the public authority requirement. And looking forward, May 18th is going to be Junior Commute Day, so I will be contacting all staff members. It's a way for us to either take green alternative ways to work, walking, biking, canoeing, carpooling, the bus, public transportation. We did participate last year, and we will participate again this year.
Very good.
That's my report. If you have any questions.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chief Fiscal Officer, Mr. Ferrara.
Chairman, my report can be found on pages, my summary report is on page 53. Detailed cash flows and other information goes to page 79. Again, I'll focus on the summary, page 53. Budget preparation for the upcoming July 2018 through June 2021 budget preparation is nearing review of a final draft, which will be provided to the Finance Committee at the May meeting. I've already provided a draft to the committee via email for their review and comment. I believe I think it still probably makes sense that during probably the last 2 weeks, April, that we get the committee together, probably just on a conference call, just for clarification purposes in terms of the information that I've provided. The really, the importance, I guess this time around, really is the debt service associated with some of the capital projects that fall in this particular cycle, being part of the proposed 3-year cycle maintenance plan. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of time spent on that. The majority of the remainder of the budget are the more static items that and some capital items having to do with equipment. So I look forward to that discussion, and I'm not sure when you guys, Mr. Rosenthal and Mr. DeWitt, are back, but a conference call doesn't matter if you guys are in Florida or back here. Monthly reporting, again, is provided in my report. The cash flows are all there for your review. All assessments now have either been received and or accounted for. The only thing that's really out there that we expect to receive would be the New York State shares for both the Hudson and the Black River, and I'm actually expecting that money to be transferred probably sometime next week. But again, we play that by ear, and there are a lot of bills to still be passed and such in terms of the budget. The budget report, actually the public authority report, was provided online through the public authority report system last month. Check that box, and aside from that, everything is pretty much we're through 9 months. We're looking good. Cash flow is good, and just look forward to getting the budget refined and a discussion going so we can ultimately provide it and present it to the board at the June meeting, which I believe is at India Lake. That's my report. If you have any questions.
Nope. Okay. Any questions?
No, I have none at this time.
Okay. If not, move on to our chief engineer, Mr. Colson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My operations report begins on page 80. Highlights for March. We actually had below average precipitation, specifically in the Hudson River area, only about 48% of normal precip for the month of March through the 25th. That is measured through the 25th of March, and between 67 and 90% average in the Black River area. That being said, we did begin receiving the spring freshet around the 30th of the month, with that being about 12 to 15 days behind after historic average date that we typically receive spring runoff. And so far it's been actually, relatively speaking, very quiet. No issues at all with regard to rate of inflow. It's pretty steady and consistent with the rate of inflow that we historically see, and but just a couple of weeks later than usual. I think in the case of the Black River area, I think it might be 2 weeks more before we see some of the ice disappear on the Fulton chain of lakes. Which,
still a lot of it out there.
Which is pretty unusual to have it run to the end, but it looks like it might run to the end of April this year.
We're used to seeing it go out the second or third week in April.
Yeah. And so it might be a little tricky with those reservoirs. We'll as we always do, we rely upon the rain that falls after the ice goes out in the Fulton chain in order to refill.
I'll keep your number handy.
As do many people around the Fulton chain of lake, I know. That is to provide some protection from damage due to ice movement in those reservoirs. But it does sometimes pose a little bit of a challenge in terms of refilling by about June 1st. But right now it looks like we should be receiving an average precip throughout the rest of the refilling process. So I'd be happy to take any questions if you had any. Otherwise, that concludes my report.
Very good. Any questions?
No, just to let you know, I've been fielding some questions about the dam repairs for you up there. So
okay. We're still
nothing serious.
Still a few years away from actually getting into that one. But
any other questions or comments? Thank you very much. Chief Administrator, Mr. Hodgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report starts on page 114. Myself and staff installed a new furnace at the Conklin building in the garage area. The furnace is like 30 years old and has some issues. So we decided to install it ourselves, and we saved the district quite a bit of money by doing that. Filed the renew reminder postcards went out for the people that failed to renew their annual permit on the lake. We're starting to get them back, so we're trying to get everybody on board so they don't lose the permit. And I've been working, spent a lot of time on the confined space at the Conklin building, making sure that we are in compliance with our confined space. And I had a gentleman from the New York State Department of Labor has come out, reviewed our program, given us some recommendations to make sure that we are in compliance, sending guys down into that space. So we're still working on that, and we're actually purchasing some additional equipment to make sure that entry into that space is safe. That's all I have. I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody may have.
Is there anybody still left around the lake that we've got revoked permits on? Or has that all been?
No, there's only one permit that was taken away that I'm aware of right now. It's still Mr. Bell up by the Conklin building.
Okay. The rest of
Mr. Hudson, I forget, the name escapes me. The gentleman that was represented by counsel and then appeared finally without counsel. What's the status of the resolution of the non-compliance with his
dock?
Dock and walk.
His walkway.
The stairs.
Right, that nothing's been done up there yet. We're still waiting for the weather to improve so we can get contractors down there to make sure that everything's in compliance. But we are monitoring it.
Were plans submitted? I thought that were he was gonna finally meet,
Yes, he did.
submit plans.
Yes, he did. He did submit a work permit on exactly the new configuration of the dock and everything associated with it. We do have that, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, sir. Any other board member questions or comments? I need a resolution for the next board meeting, which is May 8th, and I have inlet. You said, okay, yeah, okay, you said Indian Lake, I had to go back.
June. Lake's June.
Oh, okay, okay.
So we'll be,
In inlet at the town offices. Motion?
So moved.
Mr. Bergström.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I need a motion to go into executive session to talk about personnel issues.
I'll make that motion.
And I'd like Mr. Smallins to stay with us, please.
And Mr. Bergström.
Oh, Ken, good. Seconded it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
We are in executive, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're in executive session. Thank you.